Running 150 at 17 was a big deal for me, knowing that, okay, now I'm like one of the best in the country. And then where the past 3 years have just gone ass. And most of it is my fault. I know that I have the capability to get to that level, so I've got 2 years more or less to prove to myself that I can do it.
How much are you doing? I do the 2 halves.
Oh, bro. I feel like my body's going to ache today. I'm going to have to get home, hot bath. Might even put the boots on for a bit, you know? So we had 4 sets of 800 metres, 400 metres, with a minute in between the reps and 2.5 in between the sets. We're supposed to be around 228 for the 8s and 72s for the 4s, but ended up probably averaging out about 225 for the 8s, like starting at 228, getting down to like 222, and then like I think we started at about 69 and got down to like 66 on the 4s, but it felt as it should have done, so can't complain. Nothing too fancy, just a fair bit of aerobic work to dust COVID off. This week has been like, this is like supposed to be a normal week. Last week was just a bunch of easy running, and then topped off with a steady run on Saturday. And the 2 weeks before that were just in bed dying. So it's probably like a week worth of in bed dying, and then a week worth of I feel okay but not good enough to run. But I'm glad that I've taken my time, because it felt better than I expected. So
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it was a good session, and did a couple 3-2s at the end, just 29, 28, 27, something like that, in spikes, just so that I go into Saturday session with a little bit of muscle memory of what it feels like to run in spikes again. Not sure what Saturday's going to be yet. I'll talk to my coach today, but confident it'll be okay. Long story short, started running in year 5 for Blackheath and Bromley, because you know when you're like the fastest kid in your class, you go to the Bromley schools, you get invited to join Blackheath, and you're like, oh mate, it's like getting the England call up. And then as soon as I joined Blackheath, I realised that I'm now a small fish in a big pond, and I was ass. So yeah, I just made my way through Mick Jones's group, then progressed into Dave Liston's group. As soon as I joined Dave's group, took it a bit more serious. So that was the first year that I became sort of good at running. I ran 4:30 for the 15 steeple, which at the time ranked me 2nd in the UK. So went to English schools for the steeple, didn't do very well, but it was like the first taste of the big time. But then the next year, when the distance ramped up to 2K, I just couldn't hack it. Aerobically, I wasn't good enough. So then I was like, okay, I started doing some more 8s. I broke 2 the previous year, and then that year I ran 153. I knew there was more in the tank. But then the following year, it was the COVID year, and I'd had a semi-decent indoor season, came 2nd at Southerns, bonked the national final, but I made the final. And then after COVID hit, I was just like, I have no school, what else am I going to do? So just took my mileage from 20 miles a week all the way up to 50, which was bad in the long run, but it just got me into crazy shape. When I was 17, around 150. Went to British Champs at 18. As soon as I ran 150, I got injured, and it was just simply because I upped my mileage way too quickly, and I was doing no S&C whatsoever. So I had knee surgery, which put me out for the entirety of the next year. And now it's starting to go well. So obviously ran 150, didn't run for, it was just under 2 years I didn't race, and then so 2 years later I PB'd by 0.3 of a second, around 150 again. Then last year ended up running 149.6, which I think I should have run a lot quicker, but didn't, and I can't make any excuses. I probably wasn't smart about the end of the season. Could have done a lot of things differently, but I'm proud of how I progressed through the year. I had a number of setbacks, illnesses, but I just wasn't focused enough during the winter that I should have been. So now I'm under Dean Miller at Birmingham. I'm getting every support. All the support I need, everything under the sun. It's like getting gift wrapped for me, put on a plate. I've given up alcohol completely, given up going to bed past 12. Yeah, even as a poker player. So now I don't play any evening tournaments. The earliest I'll enter a tournament, latest enter a tournament now is 4, just so that I know that it will end in time. I'm doing gym twice, like proper specialised gym twice a week at 6 o'clock in the morning. I think I told them I'm going into this. Just imagine I've never done SSC in my life. I had done a fair bit. The stuff that I was doing was always to prevent stuff from happening, not to get any better. And now I'm doing stuff to make me stronger and faster. So yeah, SSC is going really well. I've already seen like huge amounts of progress. At 17, 18, like I knew that I now have the capability to take running really seriously. Like I think running 150 at 17 was a big deal for me, knowing that okay, now I'm like one of the best in the country. Like why can't I become pro? And then well, the past 3 years have just gone ass, and most of it is my fault. You know, like I know I've had some little unlucky bits, but I can't blame anyone. You know, and I see all my friends that I was spanking it when I was 17, 18 now just doing like running crazy times. Like I know that I have the capability to get to that level, so I've got 2 years more or less to prove to myself that I can do it. The thing is, in my head I know I can do it if I get things right. So if I just commit like literally everything to running, like train as if it's my life, then I think it will come. The past couple of years, like especially even last season, all the goals and mindset that I had were all short term. It was like, okay, I've got a race in 4 weeks time, I've got to run sub 149. You know, it's like, whereas this year I know that I've added so much new stimulus to my training that I know I'm going to run quicker in the summer. Like, don't get me wrong, I know I'm going to run quick. But I'll say, at the moment I've set myself a goal of running 146 next year. However, I won't be disappointed if I don't do it, as long as I'm consistent and I, tick every box. Say if I have a couple bad races that I could have run the time in, fair enough. But I know that the running thing is long term. I know that it's not going to come overnight. So next year, it's just all about getting faster and enjoying the process, Like, don't go into every race thinking I have to run a certain time. Just go into it thinking, okay, you're in shape, just see what happens. I think just keeping consistent. Like, when I moved to Birmingham, mileage increased a tiny bit, and during the summer I'd been running maybe 25 miles a week, but I'm doing a fair bit on the bike. Whereas going into Birmingham, I upped it to 35 a week, and I hit that consistently for 10, 11 weeks. I'd say that winter went like near enough. Other than COVID, it went almost as well as it could have done, other than COVID. I had minded not to run any indoor races purely because my focus is purely just on if I had one race next year I want to do well in, it's Bucks Adults, which is quite early. So I wanted to just have a nice slow build and like peak at the right time. But that being said, I love training indoors, it's so much fun, and I've been invited to British Champs. Like, there's no harm in doing a couple, but again, all the races I do indoors, there'll be no pressure on it. My lactate testing went really well a couple of weeks ago. Like, my scientific tempo range is a lot quicker than me and Dean thought. I thought it was going to come out maybe like 5:45 sort of pace for like the proper tempo or threshold pace, and it came out much slower, like anywhere between 5:22 to 5:33 pace, which was, that was a big bonus. So it proved the winter work had been going well. I'm just going to start transitioning the sort of 5k sort of build work I've been doing into more 15-8 sort of stuff now. Then have another sort of aerobic block during March, going into early April, and then go away for training camp, get super sharp over the 8 and run something special at Bucks. I've been very fortunate that I was supposed to go to Birmingham in my first year of uni, and then just results day didn't go to plan, and by the time my results got back, the course had been filled up and I didn't want to wait a year. So I went to Nottingham, but I've been in contact with Dean the entire time. I've been training at Birmingham when I can. So I'd already had a decent relationship with Dean. He was always there, checking on me, seeing how I was doing, and it's been really good. Like, he's been very relaxed about making sure I don't overdo it. I just try to learn who I am as an athlete the past couple of months, and Dean's the support level I get from him is crazy. So yeah, he's always open to new suggestions. So yeah, it's good having that coach that will tell you when you need to stop, but also tell you okay, yeah, why not? Let's get a bit more tasty again. You tell me a better 800 metre coach in the UK, that has the depth that Dean does at this level. And it's not even just that, watch this year. This year, you're going to see some of these athletes go crazy. Like, and the good thing about Dean as well is it keeps the group. It's competitive, but it's not toxic. You know, like everyone's there working together for everyone else. Yeah, like, phenomenal coach. London run clubs and like run clubs all around the world are booming at the moment. What you've got to think, you've got this absolute boom of people coming into the, you know, the sport of running, just general running, right? There's got to be a way to transfer the attention going into run clubs into professional running, right? Because you see all these run club guys, they can now appreciate how much work it takes to run a 14-minute 5k, 13-minute 5k. They're like, oh, that's crazy, man. But because they're now running 5ks, they're interested by it, right? And I think one event that happened over last summer did a perfect job of it. Night at the 10Ks, right? The atmosphere there, it was an absolute spectacle. I'm gutted I wasn't there. And they didn't just have the 10Ks, like the 8s for the under 20s 800 metre race. Crazy, like with the fire everywhere, bro, the atmosphere was class. Say like the BMC, say the final Grand Prix, imagine you make it an atmosphere like that and you get like that A race, make it top tier, like world class 800 meters. Not just like, you know, it's going to be 1 in 145, 146 and whoopie do. Make it a race where they're targeting 143. Just pay for athletes to come. You know, you've got to lose money to gain money. You've got to lose money to get eyes to the sport at some point. I still enjoy watching the Diamond League. I think the setup is fine. I just think we have to do more. Just do more of it, you know? And it's not like there's not enough room to do more. Like you've got so many pro athletes that aren't getting into these Diamond League races, that are having to find these like European events that no one knows about. It's like all of a sudden, oh wow, it's a really quick race, but who knew about it? Another thing I think you have to, like athletes has to get, because you know me, I'm a poker player. I think you've got to allow gambling, man. You got, bro. I'll be telling my friends, put your house on Gardiner to win the 800 metre C race at the BMC, you know. Say you've got friends, right? You've got friends that don't run and wouldn't watch your race. But if you tell them, oh look, you can bet on me to win. You can bet on me to win this race. All of a sudden, they'll be like, oh, just chuck a 5 on it. It's Joe. It's my mate. Chuck a 5 on, and all of a sudden, you've got an eye to the sport. If you get all of your running friends, all of your non-running friends to chuck a 5 on it, right? 10 eyes to the sport, and then all of a sudden they think, oh, Joe's just, you know, got spanked everyone. This is easy money. It might not be the greatest idea, and I know a lot of people disagree with it, but I'm just putting it out there. ACTC is going really well. We're over 1,000 subs now. I hope people enjoy the personalities rather than just the pure running content. I know that some people will be watching it just for the running content, but I also hope that people can see where we're attempting to be nice guys in the sport. The plan is definitely to cause some rivalries at some point during the season with people that we're not friends with either. Not making enemies, but, you know, create a storyline. And it's not like I'm looking for it, but I want to cause it, you know? I'm not looking for it, but I want to cause it, accidentally cause it. Build. I just get better. That's it. Just get better and enjoy the process and not put too much pressure on racing. That's it. Yeah, Ben.Enver on Instagram. ACTC on YouTube. That's about it, really.
Yes.
Bosh.
Thank you.